Let's dive into our next segment because I want to take a look specifically at that Southeast division really quickly.
Ooh.
We've got it's a mess of a division. Someone has to win it. The Heat minus 220 at the moment to still hang on. The Hawks plus 210 on Pinnacle at the minute to win that division. Strength of schedule, I mean, there's not too much difference between them. Heat 17th, Hawks 10th, but not a whole lot of disparity in terms of the teams remaining, and especially when it comes to the top teams and the number of top teams both have to play. Do you think there's any value here in the market, firstly? And secondly, can we expect Quinn Snyder to really make a whole heap of difference, especially defensively for Atlanta in such a short period of time?
I don't believe in Atlanta at all. Even though, man, door is wide open for them. Oh, this is awful.
It's incredible. Awful. So the Heat right now are they are above 500. However, they're the only team in the NBA above 500 with a negative net rating. And that's because their offense is so bad. It's 25th in points per possession. It's 27th in effective field goal percentage. You know, they're bottom 10 in offensive rebounding percentage. It's just that defense that seems to get it done. And the amount of late game coin flips that they've managed to win and have go their way to even put them in this position at the moment is impressive. But also at the same time, does that have to come undone at some point, or are they just that team that's just going to keep getting it done in the clutch in the regular season at least?
Yeah, I have the Miami Heat power rated as the 22nd best team in the NBA. Right now I have Atlanta as the 19th. I think Atlanta's record is pretty true. Like, I have them as a 500 team.
Yep.
So it's not really like they've underachieved, given their talent. I would not lay points with them against a better team better than average in a neutral. Mm-hmm. In fact, I have them a little power rated, a little under, little to the negative. The Heat, though, my goodness gracious, this offense is atrocious. It's not modern offense. It's that they don't have the answers. There's not, you're right. They won a lot of coin flips, and they're not playing good basketball lately either, right? Like everybody else who's contending, you've seen a clear, here we go, rounded to form. Like now is the time, and the Heat are not doing that at all. Jimmy Butler has put together a really impressive season considering how beat up he's been. I don't think that's changing anytime soon, though. If the Heat win this, it's going to be by voodoo in some way, shape, or form. And yet, after all that, I would still take them at a dog price against the likes of the Sixers. So maybe the joke is on me here. Spoelstra's coaching this unit above, to a record that's above what they ought to be. He's done that a lot. This isn't new. Coaching in the NBA matters. And yeah, I think the fact that they are in position. I thank God they got rid of they just made it neutral seating because, right, like a Southeast Division win doesn't guarantee you're out of the plan, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You could still if you're the 7th seed, you're still playing your way in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Thank God they fixed that, because this would be the year you'd pull your hair out. Now, all that said, the Nets are going to fall out of the mix. Raptors aren't going anywhere. Raptors are going to pull their way into the 7-8 7-8 discussion. Realistically, I think you could probably flip Nets and Raptors right now, and you should probably flip Hawks Heat, and I think that's going to be your 7-8. Whether that's in Miami or Atlanta is going to depend on how healthy Jimmy Butler is later in the month of March, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to play twice still to close out the regular season, so that'll, I think, swing things ultimately one way or the other. I'm writing a lot of Hawks preseason division positions, which I haven't bought out of. I don't think
plus money price on that.
Yeah,
that was like plus
I got
150.
plus 300. No,
plus 300.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
This was like a solid month before the season started. A lot of plus 200 as well. Still added up on top of that.
I'm holding a lot of 200 to 1 on the Magic. That's not going to cash.
I did join. I joined you and our NBA group on that one.
Holding a lot of that.
It was a great week. grabbing a hold of that one and
They beat the Celtics twice.
They did, yeah.
This is de facto Eastern Conference champs right there.
Yeah, that was a fun week, but that one's not going anywhere. But yeah, I have no intention of buying out of that Hawks position. I'm happy to ride it to the end, to be honest.
Yeah. Do they have the tiebreak, or they get the tiebreak if they beat the Heat twice here down the stretch, which they're going to have to do probably to close the gap. So
exactly, I think they have to do it regardless. But at the moment, it's tied at 1 apiece in the season series. So yeah, and I'm not sure who has the conference tiebreak. That would be interesting as well, because if it finishes 2-2, there's still obviously a pathway that they finish with an equal record, and the Hawks have the conference tiebreaker if it goes to that. Hawks are 19-20 at the moment against the Eastern Conference. The Heat are 16-20.
Oh, jeez.
Which is just
so, man. I don't know how the Heat. I don't know how they keep getting away with this. I really don't understand how they are 33-30. This team, yeah.
I scratch my head at it every day. I just, the Hawks really should have had this wrapped up by now by just being semi-competent. But going into just quickly on the Quinn Snyder issue, I don't think there's enough time for him to really implement a whole lot of schemes that are going to change things in terms of how they're performing at the defensive end. I don't even think he can really do much to implement how they run their offense in a different way to what they've been running so far either. I think it's still going to be a little bit vanilla. It's just a matter of whether he can get buy-in from the players, which is more than what they had when Nate McMillan was there. But if you had to buy in at this point, are you buying in on the Hawks at that current price, which is plus 210? Or would you look at the Heat? Or would you even look at Washington? I mean, like the Wizards are 2.5 games back from Miami at this point in that division.
Yeah, I mean, I have the Wizards power rated higher than the Hawks. That's not a good sign for the Hawks, I guess.
You can get them.
How far is the gap? I guess the gap isn't that far.
2.5 games. They're plus 900 to win the division.
Let me take a crack. I have a side tab here that runs numbers on stuff like this. So let me just see what I project them to finish win-loss here compared to the Hawks. Now, I have the Hawks projected to finish better, so there must be something schedule-wise. That I have. I tip in the direction of the Hawks here over the Wizards.
Okay.
It's not opponent either, because the Wizards have a slightly easier.
They do, yeah.
Opponent slightly. Strength of opponents. It must be rest.
We're pulling hairs when it comes to just looking at the schedule opponent for both those teams specifically. I mean, Atlanta and Washington still have to play 3 times as well.
God, man, those games are going to be pick'ems, all of them.
Yeah, the Hawks. Yeah, the Hawks have to play Miami twice, Washington 3 times. So I mean, them winning the division is entirely on how they perform within the division now at this point.
Oh man. Quinn Snyder, never really been my guy.
Great regular season coach, though.
You know why? You know what I probably needed to do in preparation for this discussion was rewatch a lot of that last game that he coached, his only game coaching for the Hawks, and that they somehow lost to the Wizards.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter was just absolutely atrocious for them. I got to look maybe a little bit at what some of his rotation decisions were in that fourth quarter, who was taking shots, and why it was such a disaster for them. Go ahead.
Part of it was one of those quarters where Washington was hitting a ton of contested jumpers and just making threes that were not in any way, shape, or form wide open or the right shot to be taking at that moment in time. So I want to give some benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, their offense did come undone in a pretty drastic way in the clutch, which was a little bit alarming.
Interesting. So Corey Kispert was the difference in that game, basically. Wizards were only 6 of 21 from 3, so they didn't even get that many threes off, and they only hit 6. Wow. I mean, how did the Hawks lose this game? I mean, the Hawks have had a dozen of these this year where you're just like,
Exactly.
how did you lose? And
they have been the absolute opposite of the Miami Heat, where they have lost games that are just absolute head scratchers, while the Heat have somehow won games where they just looked dead and buried for the most part, and that's how we've kind of ended up where we are right now with the standings.
Man, all right. Well, the Wizards, nobody really on the Wizards is elevating their performance enough for me to buy into these guys. The starting five. Let's see. When are we expecting Porzingis to play? What?
Yeah,
Plays
I mean, he played yesterday.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's going to be broadly available down the stretch for them.
Yeah,
until he gets hurt again.
Yeah.
And Kyle Kuzma is not. He is not on the upswing right now. He's on like a little bit of a lull for me, even though he's putting up some decent points and just a lot of usage.
Are we trusting Beal to see out the season as well? I mean, he's someone who's probably due for an injury too.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a late season Dame whiff to him, where he's like, "Hey, don't forget about me." But then ultimately, like, it's too much and he's too old to carry this team for this long, and ultimately the wheels fall off there. So, God, man, I can't believe I might be betting the Hawks here. Basically, all of my numbers say the Hawks are the right play at plus. You said 210 plus 210.
Yeah, plus 210 on Pinnacle. Yeah.
I think that's a bettable number.
Yeah. I like the Hawks 8-man rotation. Like, I really do. Sadiq Bey, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Onyeka Okongwu, first three off the bench. I like it a lot. I think it's steady. AJ Griffin, if you want to make it a 9-man rotation, is completely fine by me as well. I think they have the better squad. You're picking hairs when it comes to the schedule. And ultimately, it's just going to come down to that in-division matchups between the Hawks and the Heat, those two games, and then the Hawks and the Wizards 3 times.
Yeah.
And
God, man.
2 of the 3 games. Is it 2 of the 3 games are going to be in Atlanta between Hawks and Wizards?
Yeah, I like this. I like the general rest. The kind of the fabric of their schedule in terms. They got this coming up with at the Heat. Saturday, Monday, and then at Wizards, which is weird. This is bizarre that they set them up this way. But after that 4-game stretch, even if they end up with a split there, 2-2, which is your most likely outcome considering the strength of those teams is so close. Even if that, then that's their last road trip of the season. They don't have back-to-back road games for the rest of the way. They don't have a lot of back-to-back games, period. They face a number of teams that have back-to-backs. When they do have back-to-backs, the second night, the only one that looks like trouble is at the T-Wolves, because they're basically home for the Pistons, and then they turn right around and play at the T-Wolves the next day. But nothing about the front end of that suggests you're going to have to play your guys more than, minimum number of minutes. So they should be able to, maybe the right time is to, actually, yeah. So in terms of market entry, which is always important for this sort of stuff, you almost need to do it now in case they beat the Heat back to, if they go 2-0 against the Heat there,
exactly.
And if they split with the Wizards, then that plus 210 is going to be like pick them.
Yeah, I mean, if they sweep the Heat, I mean, then the Heat have the Cavs back to back after Atlanta back to back.
Yeah. All right, let's go Hawks.
Let's do it.
My numbers say this is a plus EV bet. This is the right time to do it. I think this is a good one. Good luck.
Let's pencil it in. Let's get ready for all the pain that comes.
You don't need to do. You got a better number.
Yeah. I'll probably buy more. Let's be honest.